Alright, here's an oldie but a goodie. You kids probably won't get this, but I like it. Um, Out of work bus driver goes into an employment agency looking for a job. And employment person says, well, um, pickings are pretty slim right now. There's not a lot of jobs available, but I've got one. There's been a lot of turnover at this position, but here you go. It's driving the Sesame Street bus. He says, I beg your pardon. She says it's driving the bus that picks up the people to go watch the taping of Sesame Street. He says, great. What could be so hard about that? I'll take it. She says, well, I'm warning you. There's a lot of turnover. He says, no problem. So she says, okay, here's your route information. Let's pick these people up, drive this route, drop them off the studio. Great. Well, goes on the job the first day. First up, Patty and Patty. Okay, well that's fine. Two ladies named Patty, they're just friends. Gets to the stop, and they are the biggest people he's ever seen in his life. They get on the bus and goes kabonk 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 kabonk. They're smart enough. They each sit on one side of the bus, but kind of a little freaked out about that. Okay, that's cool. Next stop, Ross. And he pulls up to the stop. There's this guy just standing there, kind of incoherent. He just stands there. Turns to him and says, "Sir, could you get on the bus?" Ross, could you get on the bus, please? One of the ladies, one of the patties in the back says, "You got to call him Special Ross." He says, "You're crazy." All right, Special Ross, will you get on the bus, please? Guy just incoherently steps on the bus, goes back, sits in his seat. Now the driver's a little more freaked out. Next up, Steve. Okay, Steve, ordinary name, should be an ordinary guy. He gets to stop, and Steve's kind of this like throwback 70s hippie looking guy wearing cut off ragged shorts and sandals, and he gets on the bus and he's carrying a sickle with him. He pulls off his sandals and he starts picking his bunions with this sickle. Well, needless to say, the bus driver's completely freaked out. Gets to an intersection, just stops through a green light, and then goes through just before it turns red. Well, there's a cop right behind him. The cop can tell this guy looks a little confused, so he pulls him over, asks him to open the door, walks up and says, "Sir, you sat through a green light. You look a little confused. Are you frustrated?" He looks at the cop and says, "Well, yeah, you would be too if you had two obese patties, Special Ross, Sickle Steve picking bunions on a Sesame Street bus."